Welcome to a special episode of the Roll for Crit podcast.
Woo, special!
Oh, so special. Different from our usual weekly show, this time we are only going to be covering the events from Gen Con 2014 that we experienced over the past week. Very exciting stuff, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you may have seen some of our mini episodes, but this is really the big wrap-up episode with, actual back on our set, with actual lights, good mics.
It's nice here.
Yes.
It's good to be home. So look forward to all that. Going to be talking about lots of great games and our experiences at the con. I'm Jonathan Estes.
I'm Will Keeler, and this is a special Roll for Crit podcast. So welcome back. We're back from Gen Con, and good to be back on the set. And we've got a lot to tell you, don't we?
Oh, so much to tell you. We possibly couldn't tell you any more. We covered, of course, most of the big releases that we got to play during our mini episodes that, of course, you have seen. But this time around, we're going to get to the stuff that we missed and maybe more overall our broader thoughts on how Gen Con went. Because, of course, this was our first time at Gen Con.
And hopefully more to come.
Hopefully we'll be there many more times indeed in the future. But we've been to Comic-Con in New York, not San Diego.
I've also been to Anime Next, just down the road in Morristown from where we are, and also Otakon down. I just brain dead when it was.
Down in wherever that kind of thing takes place.
Baltimore. Wow, I can't believe I forgot. I haven't been there in a long time.
But so we've had some experience with these types of things, but this was a little bit different. So what did you think overall? How did it go compared to your other con experiences? What kind of stuff did you like?
Well, first I'm going to leave Anime Next out because that's such a small one. I don't think it's fair to compare to them. I feel the other two are reasonable.
We don't need to compare to specific things, just
but
generally.
With the other two, a big thing was it's a hassle to get there. And when you're there, there's really not much to do on the floor once you get your stuff.
To be fair, a hassle to get there. We did have to fly across the country to get to this con.
Flying, anyway, I'm literally meant like when you're within the town, the city.
Okay.
It's always expensive. The bus system was really nice. The first day was a little terrifying because it's like not enough buses, but then they quickly got some more buses and we never really had problems after that.
To take us from the hotel to the convention center.
If you were like us at the time, we were not lucky enough to get hotel rooms right by the convention center. A big thing, this is particular with New York Comic-Con, which the Javits Center does not have nearly as many food options as the center, I don't know,
Indianapolis Convention Center,
which makes a huge difference because usually when we go to New York Comic Con, I always make sure to bring a little bag lunch and eat that instead because I'm going to be waiting 2 hours in line if I even thought about getting food, and there wasn't really much food around there.
And it'll cost you like $18 for a little thing of meat this big.
Yeah.
And it's just meat, it's not even packaged or anything.
The Indianapolis, granted, the food was hiked up price. It
was, but I wouldn't say
it's still reasonable.
The thing is, and it's like the same prices as it was in New York Comic Con, but you get more food for it. Like I was full at Comic Con.
That's what I meant. It's hiked up for that. But there were so many places you could get in line for food.
You tried to count them and gave up.
Yeah, no, I realized I didn't go hunting and visit all of them.
Plus, there's a lot of food trucks. Of course, in New York City, you can, or in most of these places, you go outside and you can find a bunch of restaurants wherever you go. But it was nice to have more options inside.
They were closer too. I felt like the Indiana Center, Annapolis Center had a lot more really within the a stone throwing distance. You could see like at least 10 food trucks lined up in the center.
Yeah, they took advantage of it, definitely.
But I think that's just because it's built in a perfect area, flat land.
Also because they probably, they know there's a big thing coming, and they make plans for it. Whereas in New York City, like, there's not as much. There's everything. The street space is taken up by other stuff year round, so it's harder to arrange. It's kind of that kind of thing, probably. Right. But anyway.
What about you?
I totally loved the experience. One of the big things that we weren't prepared for was in advance we got tickets for many panels and discussions that we were going to attend, and we didn't quite realize just how much there would be to do on the show floor itself.
Oh yeah, because like usually with the other ones, it's like I look around the show floor and I'm done because either I bought what I needed because I thought I was going to go out, or it's like I'm not going to wait. I'm going to wait till Sunday.
Right, and for me, the same thing. And usually the panels are, well, that's where all the celebrities are going to be there. That's where they're showing off the new episodes of whatever it is that you want to see, or preview of a movie or a comic book. So that's where the big stuff. That's where the lines form that go forever.
And speaking what you say though about buying tickets,
yeah,
I think Comic-Con they need that more.
Oh yeah, at Comic-Con there's no registration system. You get there as early as you can. It's first come first served.
Last year we tried to get into the Shield special Shield panel.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show.
We love anything Marvel. And we were told to line up for the thing before. And we're like, all right, we'll do it. It was something I don't even remember what it is. It's something that we don't care about at all.
Yeah.
And when we went there to line up before, there's already this huge line for that. Because everyone was already doing that. They would just go in there and sit down and not move.
Yeah.
And in the end, we did not get into the Shield.
And it's even worse in San Diego, where people just camp out like for 2 days before.
Yeah, no, I actually have no desire to go to San Diego Comic-Con ever. I mean, it just does not seem like a fun idea to me.
Well, I'm sure it would be fun once for an experience. But that aside, this was a nice system. Of course, it didn't matter because we didn't go to any of our panels. The first day we were like, let's skip this day, and then by the next day it was clear we are not going to do any of these because there are so many demos of the new games, and that's where the meat of Gen Con really is in demoing these new games on the floor.
Not only that, how many times did we get an announcement like, guess what? Legendary is the Upper Deck's releasing their special new verse system, which we will get to a little bit more on that.
There's lots of. There weren't as many. Like the news of Gen Con is new games, and that's at their booths as opposed to Comic Con where the news comes from the panels. So anyway, that was that. But it was definitely. It definitely was a challenge to get around and cover everything that we needed to cover because there is so much of it, and even for the most popular games that had multiple demo tables, it was often tough to get around when there was a table open. You had to wait.
Oh yeah, I'm just so happy a lot of people gave us the time to sit us down, especially some of the developers of some of the games. Yeah. I mean, they're probably playing this constantly, and I'm really, I mean, points to you for staying there and playing the same game over and over and over again.
And that's not even taking into account all the time they've spent refining the rules of this game and playing it millions of times before even debuting it. Now they got to teach it to a bunch of idiots. Like I always felt bad, like every time I sat down and it was just, because they have to refresh completely, and they're like, and finally they explain it all to you. And then the next group comes down and they start all over again and then relive it.
There was a game, like some games like the Tragedy Looper, when they're the mastermind. So, after playing the same scenario 100 times, they sort of know how to deal with everything that comes.
But I have to say, the demo people were amazing.
Oh no, everyone was so nice there.
They were so good at teaching the game to you, and I think made me feel like I could teach games better. Especially the ones that they taught me, obviously, but even applying how they did it to other things.
Oh, no question. I was literally amazed by some of them. It's just, why can't I explain games this well?
Because a lot of it is they leave out like the more advanced stuff, and they don't, they tell you something when you need to know it. So as you go through, it's very straightforward, and they help you out the whole time, and they're all super nice, and they just did a great job. Especially, I thought Fantasy Flight had the best overall presentation. I mean, they had the biggest space, and they're one of the biggest companies, so it stands to reason that would be the case. But they all were really great, even the smaller ones, and actually, even especially like Chaosmos, which was a Kickstarter. Those guys were super enthusiastic, and the guys at Iron and Ale too. So all those smaller companies, because they're more the indie type, they are thrilled to have anybody there taking part and being excited about their games.
Yeah, that was always fun to meet all the Kickstarter people. Speaking of which, a fun one Kickstarter group that I picked up mine, Heroes Wanted. Apparently, on the very first day, someone actually went up to the booth, took a copy, and ran off with it. So, I mean, that's a little weird, but I guess that shows that it's wanted so much that someone's willing to steal it and risk their time at Gen Con for it.
That's just sad. it's you're supposed to have a camaraderie at these types of things.
There's always
an
one.
honor system.
There's always one guy.
I guess if there's one theft, that's probably for that we know of.
It looks like they did need some heroes then.
And that'll be the final episode of Troll for Crit. So why don't we get into specifics about which, out of everything that we played, let's start with what were your favorite experiences versus overall game that you enjoyed. Of course, most of these games we haven't had a chance to play more than once, if more than a few rounds. But judging off that, in spite of that, what was your favorite stuff? Maybe you could limit it to a few.
All right. I think
Want me to come back
definitely.
to you?
Well, the Heroes Wanted, like I said again, I was really excited to pick that up. I just love. I opened it. I'm setting it up to go through and actually learn the game, so we can actually play through a game. And the components are just so fun.
I'm going to say that doesn't count because you didn't play it.
Okay, fine. We're only going with ones we played?
All right, it can be your. Well, I feel like you're still just excited for it. What was your favorite thing you actually did?
Well, the wound card I got. We were able to print wound cards. Yeah, just like here from Legendary.
Ivan really wants you to know that he has one as well.
Unfortunately, Jonathan was out. I believe you were learning Star Wars Armada.
I was probably doing a bunch of things. I didn't feel like waiting in line for it.
Yeah, but it was just a lot of fun. I bet there are a lot of people in line too who are cosplayers, which I think it would be even cooler because if you're cosplaying and have that wound card, like there was a Darth Vader, there was one of the Sand People.
Yeah, like Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, which I left because they were behind us. But I wish I could have seen because I knew he's got to go to the right over his head. In terms of, I guess,
for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, these are cards to use in the Legendary game that they let you make.
In terms of a game, I think Abyss, like I said in our mini episodes, definitely took the cake for me of one of the best games I played. The artwork is beautiful. The game played really well. It didn't feel like this long, dragged out game, and I would just want to keep playing it over and over again.
For me, probably, I really had a lot of fun with Sheriff of Nottingham. That was probably the most I wasn't expecting to like it that much. Other than that, XCOM was definitely up there, and that was the very first thing I did, so that was a great introduction to Gen Con.
Oh yeah, no, I remember I was like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, I found XCOM!
So that's definitely, and then I would probably also say Star Wars Imperial Assault is just the one that I'm generally most looking forward to that was announced there.
We each had a game from Fantasy Flight that said, this would make a great game, and lo and behold, they did it.
Yeah, God bless them. But definitely of that I played, I'd probably have to go with XCOM or Sheriff of Nottingham.
I do have a game.
Okay.
That was my favorite.
Ivan wants you to know what his favorite game was.
Coconuts.
I don't believe it's called Coconuts, is it?
It is called
Coconuts. Oh, it is called
It is,
Coconuts.
Where you take
Okay.
the monkey and you fling the coconuts into a cup.
Yeah.
Well, we should talk about some of the games that we got to play that weren't new releases at Gen Con. So that was Coconuts. So
Pretty much the way it works is there's cups in the center. Your goal is to get a coconut into 6 cups and make a little pyramid.
It's a dexterity game where you literally have plastic monkeys and you're flinging a coconut and trying to aim it. Sort of like beer pong, but in a
Actually, yeah, that's pretty good. Except to use monkeys instead of your own.
Right.
Which means you could probably make some good drinking variants with it.
But no, that game was really fun. It was a really fun time, and we don't play a lot of dexterity games like that.
No, we don't.
There's Jenga. But
Well, I think half the reason is just because we have so many. It's just hard to be like, we've heard so much about Mage Knight. We have to try and play it this time.
Yeah, that's more that lighter fare that we usually don't have as much of. Well, we have at least not in that variety. And on the same lines, another light game we played was Say Anything from North Star Games, which is sort of like elements of Apples to Apples or Wits and Wagers plus Balderdash. If you played any of those games, where one person writes down their opinion on something, and everyone else has to write theirs. Or no, sorry, it's not true. Everyone writes their opinions, and they have to guess which one they pick.
The way it works is
This is why I don't work
Yes.
at Gen Con.
the judge has a card with 5 options, pretty much choosing. It's like, in my opinion, and let's say he chooses what is the worst thing to say to a police officer. So then each person writes something down on a card. Then, after seeing everyone's choices or their opinions, the person on a secret little wheel chooses which one they like the best, puts it down. Then everyone bets 2 coins, just like Wits and Wagers, on which one they think is the secret one. And they get points if they guess it right, and the person gets points if people put it on the chip they.
But because, it's one of those games where since you can write down whatever you want, it can become crazy and R-rated very quickly.
Or in your case, you literally just put, I need to win this, please choose me.
And I did.
He did. It was the funniest one.
Desperation.
It worked
often
really well.
Succeeds. That's a lesson for you kids out there. But so that was a really fun one that I didn't expect to even play. But that was a lot of fun. What else did we play that wasn't a big release? Were there any other we just kind of sat down and tried them out for a while? I can't think of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through that didn't count. We did play Samurai Spirit, Witcher, you played XCOM, Abyss.
Yeah, I think the rest were all pretty much big games.
I did get explained how the new X-Files game works.
Right. Which I saw the board, but I really wanted to see the game itself.
It's really cool. You're gonna love it. He knows more about X-Files than I do. I'm slowly working there.
Although it's been so long since I've watched it, I probably have about the same knowledge you do.
But pretty much each player plays one of 4 agents. They have their strengths and weaknesses. Like some people are better at fighting, some better at science. And they actually have the episodes, like what the cases were, all over the map, and you have to go and try and solve them. But the mastermind is going to try to screw you over. He can put traps down or bluffs to injure you, I don't know, to pretty much slow down your investigation. And there's a bag of evidence, and pretty much you're gathering enough evidence to build a little poster that says, I want to believe. But the bad guy, who is Cancer Man, I believe his name is from the show.
Yeah, Smoking Man or whatever.
He's called that because he'd also, they try to find evidence and they just find some cigarette butts in the end. You actually take evidence out of the bag if they don't solve certain mysteries and put cigarette butts back in it. So you water down their evidence bag with fake evidence.
It sounds appropriately malicious.
It looks like so much fun. I mean, we didn't see it in its final components. They're the player cards, which show the players as if badges, are going to have final glossy print, just like as if you took it out of the wallet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was already. I mean, the fact that they're making a legit X-Files board game, I was already on board. What else do we got back here we already didn't talk about? I pretty much covered all those. Oh, well, Imperial Settlers is one that we played later that we haven't talked about. We didn't get to do a mini episode on it yet. We just sat down recently, literally an hour ago. That was super fun. You decimated me on our first game.
To be fair, I feel like that was because it was the first game, and it was pretty much the same thing that happened when we played Agricola the first time. Remember with Agricola, I got this one card that pretty much gave you an extra worker right off the bat. The summer house, I called it, I think. It was like a mud house. And it just, in that, it was the barbarians, and I got the perfect cards to let me just ramp up faster than you could.
That's true, but I think Agricola because Agricola does have those random cards, so there are some that are just overpowered.
Agricola was like that, but I feel like in this it was just, you could have easily, if we knew the game more,
possibly,
it's easier to take cards from someone and.
Right, but the Imperial Settlers, if you don't know, it's a game where you're playing as multiple different factions. There are 4 included in the base set. And they each have their own special things, but you also take from a deck of common cards, so everyone can share those. And you basically take turns doing actions and producing resources, which you can spend to build locations, et cetera, and you get points based on your locations and other abilities that trigger. But I definitely want to see how it plays with 4 people.
Oh no, it's going to be absolutely different because that worked out for me because since my early boost, I pretty much raided and destroyed.
He was the barbarians, and I was the Romans.
Which his thing is to get swords to build for raiding. Mine is population, but I grew my population so fast and was able to raid him. He wasn't able to build up raid points.
He has a pile of about 20 pink meeples on his board.
11.
About 20. 11 is about 20.
But pretty much that's what happened. If there were 4 people, I wouldn't be able to do that because what would happen is if I did that to you, then the other 2 are going to, swarm me.
Right.
So it's going to be much more of a more political balancing.
Right, which will be, it'll definitely be interesting to see how that plays out. And that was supposedly my number 1 anticipated. I think that and Alien were the 2 that I said. We haven't had a chance to play a full game of Alien yet. Legendary.
No, because pretty much after we came back from DoneCon, we all agreed we didn't want to see each other and sleep for about 10 hours.
So what about, there are a few games that I picked up that we didn't play that weren't Gen Con new releases, like Pixel Tactics, which I've heard lots about from Level 99.
A Study in Emerald for me.
Study in
Because
Emerald.
I've been dying to get my hands on that.
Machine of Death I got, which I was excited about because I love the books.
It did come out, I think, only a week before, but the DC Crisis,
Right, the new expansion.
which pretty much makes it fully cooperative because they're going to make it as hard as hell.
Which I would like to try. Cause
I did read through that, and pretty much a lot of it is there's pretty much another, it's a lot like Legendary. You know how Legendary, there's also the plot twist? They added the plot deck. That's pretty much what they did, except the plots are really difficult.
Okay, should be interesting. How about games? Is there anything that you were disappointed with, either a game itself or a game that you didn't get to try?
The game itself was fun, but Samurai Spirit, I think, was disappointing. Maybe it's because their booth was small. They had 1 copy of the game for demoing there. And I'm pretty sure it was like a lot of people were really anticipating that because the developer.
So you're disappointed that they sold out, or that
Well, no, I expected to sold out, but there was only 1 table, and
You just wish they had more demos.
Like there were multiple times I went there, and there really wasn't anyone around it. But then when I finally got 1 time when people were around there to play.
Right, I see what you're saying. And then on the other hand, you have Dead of Winter, which was already, which had a bunch of tables, but it took so long to get in.
Because the issue with that one is they didn't do the quick demo. Like a lot of places did okay, we're gonna take you through 2 turns, and that's like just to show you out.
Right.
We went through an entire game.
Yeah, we said that on our episode, but
Right.
the smartest thing was like Fantasy Flight did that, and most places did that. I forget what else did that, but most of them did.
I mean, also it always is sad when things sold out. Like Samurai Spirit, Ivan was sad he didn't get the Mars Attack dice game. Of course, I didn't
heard
get
that.
Tragedy Looper because I didn't think it was gonna sell out, but it did.
And Dead of Winter was
Right.
one I would have picked up if that didn't sell out as well. But in retrospect, I'm sort of glad I didn't because we wouldn't have been able to fit it on our way back home. But otherwise, most of the stuff we really wanted was there. They had plenty of the Z-Man games, most except for Tragedy Looper. They had the rest. Another few that I really wanted to try that we didn't get a chance to weren't new releases, but they're pretty new. Were the ones that were up for the Spiel des Jahres this year, Camelot and Splendor, that have been getting so much buzz.
Well, did you try Five Tribes?
Five Tribes is another one I wanted to try. That and Lords of Ziddit. Both
Right.
of those that we were interested in, we didn't get around to.
Yeah. I did go and look at the table for Lords of Ziddit, and I had no idea what was going on. It definitely looks like a game you need someone to tell you. Like some of the other ones I was able to watch and get a general gist of, but that one is definitely, it looks, from what I've heard, it's complicated, but still once it's told you it's not that difficult.
And what else? Seven Wonders Babel. We didn't get to see that. I don't know if that was out on the floor anywhere.
I remember seeing something about it, but nothing beyond like
Yeah,
this one in my memory.
We
but
missed the new expansion for Seven Wonders. I don't know where it was. It was hiding.
oh, you know, it was a great game we did play. I mean, not a full, but we both enjoyed a lot. Doomtown.
That's right. We had an episode on that.
That was a lot of fun. I loved the mechanic. It really got the poker mechanic really got me into the
So
Western
that's what you're
style.
saying. That's one of your favorites.
Yeah, that was another one.
Yeah, it's hard because
And I guess it is sad that there's the collector's edition
Oh,
because that would have been cool to get. Once again, luckily though, because of the space-wise.
But like Doomtown, like there's like for my things I most enjoyed, it was the ones that hit me right out of the gate because none of these we've had a chance to really get into and see how they tick. But yeah, the things that sold out were sad. Things that didn't sell out were happy.
Yeah, I was actually King of New York, I should say, made me happy.
Right.
Not because the game itself. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna like the game, but it was one of those things like they're only selling 50 a day. It was selling out really fast. And on Saturday, I met this really great group, and we all just rushed and we made it in the line. It was sort of like a triumphant charge together.
So that's what we should get to also, is just the people at Gen Con. I know one of the things that I was a little hesitant about, that's the reason that I never really was too excited to go to like, just a regular board gaming convention anywhere around us, because I thought, well, I like to play games with my friends, but I'm not the social butterfly. I don't really need to go out and play games with strangers. But every single group that I played demos with, which we played quite a few, they were all extremely welcoming. Everyone was friendly. There was no awkwardness or anything like that. And I really think it's because board games that structured play gives everyone this, it's like the perfect icebreaker. Because you have something to talk about, you have to talk about rules and what you're doing.
Yeah, for me, what I was afraid of before going to things like this is that I'm going to be that guy and feel like I'm an idiot among a lot of these other people. Be like, how did you not know about this or this or this? But no, that never came up. Like, I was talking to a lot of people, and was like, I've never played Pathfinder, and we just started playing D&D. And they were like, oh no, this is what you gotta do, this is great. And they just talked to me as if they're like, everyone understands, like, there are only so many doors, I feel like, and if you, just because you missed them, it just gives them a chance to explain why you can go back and still do it. Like, when I was waiting for that group for King of New York, we all just talked about our experiences, and like how he said, yeah, I'm more of a Pathfinder guy, but I'm still want to get this because my girlfriend wanted a copy. And like, it was just sort of a fun, we all just told our stories of how it happened so far, what games we were excited about.
And even the people that we were on the bus with, and the people, even when I was even going up the elevator in our hotel, I mean, everyone was just ready to talk to you and introduce themselves and say, what games are you playing and what did you play? And it was, coming from New Jersey, and where I think people are generally a little friendlier anywhere else, pretty much in the universe, except for maybe New York City. It was refreshing, and it was just, everyone was very nice, and it's a great community, I think.
Yeah, no, well, the community is nice also. I think a big thing for some people, not for us, but like if you had a family, Gen Con is, I think, probably one of the best conventions to go to. So let's say like you and your partner had some kids, and maybe your partner or maybe
Very
the kids.
PC of you, I like that.
Kids, well, I don't know who I'm talking to, whether male or female, whatever you relate to. Whatever your partner doesn't like games, or your kids. There's
The partner doesn't like your kids.
Your kids don't like games.
Maybe they just hate your kids. It's all right. They'll find a game they like.
But there's so much to do around there. Like, I think we walked outside of the building and we just saw 2 museums, a zoo, like
lots of
and of course the games themselves. There's so much to do in there, and everyone's so nice. You never have to feel bad about like my kid's not gonna be able to get this game right off the bat. Everyone's fine with that. It seemed.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. There's plenty of. It's a great place, I think, to bring kids, and you can wear costumes, and you can.
Actually, that was one thing I was surprised about.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like at the time I was surprised there were so many cosplayers, because I guess I thought it made sense for the Comic-Cons because they're pretty much the generic. We're covering
everything.
Anime, TV shows, movies, video games. But like in board games, I guess I don't think outside the D&D for cosplaying characters. But there were plenty here. And they didn't just stick with board games, there were anime, there were movie.
I would say most of them did not. I can't think of any that were board game specific unless you count Star Wars.
Well, then are you counting Marvel heroes were legendary and stuff?
I didn't even see any Marvel people.
Oh, I saw.
I saw a Loki or two, but.
Well, I think and it just reminded me, this is a community where all understand we might have outside interests, and we're all just having fun here.
Yeah, basically there's just, hey, we want an excuse to dress up, so we'll take it. I would have loved to see more. I want to see some people dressing up like Settlers of Catan, or.
So would you want to see some meeples just walking around?
No, they're the guy from the front of the box with like the sickle or the axe or whatever. Catan.
Oh, Catan. Sorry, I was thinking Imperial Settlers, the guy with the shovel.
Yeah, I would love to be that guy. You can barely see him, or just some monsters from King of Tokyo or something. Do some more board game cosplay for next year, guys. That's my opinion. But yeah, no, it was cool. It's always cool to see that stuff. Definitely not as much. And also there were just the floor didn't seem to be nearly as crowded, or like normally at New York Comic Con, I'm walking down a path and I just want to die because you can't even do anything. You're just in a mass of people swarming around you, and that was not the case here. I don't know the exact. So actually, I just posted today. They actually broke their record this year for attendance. It was like 56,000 or something. Since 2009, they've actually doubled their attendance, which is great. And my assumption is that a lot of people are sitting down playing games more so at these types of things. My biggest complaint with the show would be that I didn't have enough of me to do everything I wanted to do.
Speaking of which, that reminds me, there's one thing I sort of had issue with, but at the same time also brings me interest in this topic of promos. In particular, the thing I had a little issue with was there's legendary villains. We both said we love the artwork, in particular the Venom card. Now, if you bought legendary villains there, you would get these 4 copies of it's like the inking of the Venom cards, which are really cool.
Like a black and white sketch version.
Which is sort of bad for the people who pre-ordered in advance because they were so excited they didn't get a chance, because you don't want to buy a whole second set of Legendary. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts, though, on promos, and how do you think they should handle them like that?
I mean, that's true for all promos. It's something that I can understand that it's frustrating. And for people who don't get to go to Gen Con or, like you said, already bought the game, it definitely can be a bummer. It doesn't bother me too much. At the end of the day, it is just a little extra thing. You're not really missing out on any of the game experience because of it, and probably they'll sell them online somewhere.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like. Like for example, on Board Game Geek, a lot of the promos they'll come up there for like $5, and I think that's usually fair for a lot of them.
I mean, I guess the alternatives are to either not do promos or to make the promos and just put them in every single box.
Right. Well, that's what Kurzoic does. The first set of games they print come with the promo in the box, which is really nice.
But even then, still, the second set doesn't get it. So.
Right, but they probably, if you sell them online anyways, that's fine. It was a little, that last one only annoyed me a little because it was like, the Venom thing, it's like, curses, why did we pre-order it in advance?
Yeah, it's kind of a whatever, especially when it's just alternate art. It doesn't really bother me too much. Although I did get, the Sheriff of Nottingham came with a bunch of promo cards that in the instruction booklet itself, it mentions them, and they add some fairly different things to the game. So yeah, it depends on what they are, I'd say. But that's a topic of a week in itself, to be honest. But I think we got through we pretty much said everything. Were there any games that you played that you actually didn't find that you liked as much as you thought you would, or just didn't enjoy that much? I feel kind of dumb, but we pretty much liked everything we did.
Well, no, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people might say that because we're there, it's exciting, it's fun, we get to play these new games. You know how you always get excited when you get a new game? It's pretty much
we're in the honeymoon phase, is what you're saying. And soon we'll learn to hate them.
And I feel a lot of these games are there because they have some merits. I mean,
yeah, potentially, yeah. But there still could be something you just don't click with.
No, you can't, absolutely. But I mean, we just enjoyed everything from Subdivision to Crossroads.
Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter, Samurai Spirit. We just had fun. And I think isn't that the biggest thing that
That's the
to take from
biggest
Gen Con?
thing, yeah.
We just had fun.
We just had. It was tons of fun, and I'm super excited for next year. I can't wait to go to that, and I would have loved to be able to take part in some of the, they have so many rooms for role-playing games and people get together. We were seeing on Twitter, I forget who said, some people, they get together just once a year to carry on a game of Risk Legacy.
Right, yeah.
Which is insane. And that kind of thing, bring people together. It really is a nice atmosphere.
And there's plenty of those tournaments if that's what you like too.
Yeah, I know. It could have been cool to try one of those. Or even they have...
you should have gone for the legendary one. You would have probably done pretty well.
$10,000.
You probably can get a decent prize just from ending within maybe the top something.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't see the full rules, but also then there's the more free-form, just like 2 Rooms and a Boom Hat, or Are You a Werewolf? And I think Resistance had big tournaments for that, where games that require big groups that are just fun to play. All that stuff. I would love to try some of that. Unfortunately, we were really busy just playing as many demos as we possibly could.
Well, I think another thing to take from this Gen Con is the perfect environment for board games. Large space, lots of people. Board games want that. With an anime or movie, you watch in a theater, you can watch it by yourself. You don't need. This really builds off that.
Yeah.
So they take advantage to the full extent.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was definitely an amazing experience. And that's with being exhausted every day and getting very little sleep. And it was, but when I got to the con, it did not matter, because I was up, I was around. There was a new game. This is amazing. I'm having so much fun. I'm talking to people. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
I think it'd be funny to do note that one story that about the Verse system that Versus system
Yes.
that you told me about.
Well, that was a little. This is a little follow-up to our Versus LCG mini podcast. That's the new Upper Deck Marvel game. This is a revival of a trading card game. You can see it back there. And of course,
you will not see that again.
Of course, the living card game was a trademark of Fantasy Flight. At the time, we thought, how'd they get away with that? Well, they didn't. Turns out they got to rework that whole thing. So it remains to be seen how that will resurface in the future. I imagine they're hard at work trying to fix that right now.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this does just say preview edition, and if you open it, it's not like an actual box. It's the old white cardholder box. You can probably buy it at
as
any.
you said. So they were clearly in the testing phases.
But the cards do say on the back, Versus System Living Card Game. So if you did get one of those, you're probably never going to see those cards again.
I know. So the rare collectors, I don't know. I don't think they had too many for sale. So it's a bit of a. We even have the shirts to prove it. Too.
Yeah, that's true. So they can't make those shirts anymore either.
They probably weren't gonna, but any other final wrap-up thoughts? Any other games that you saw that you? Oh, well, I know we were disappointed. We totally didn't have time to check out Tasty Minstrel Games booth to see Bomb Squad, which is one of the games that we hyped up in our preview episode. That's probably my biggest one that I was excited for. That I was like,
Your biggest regret?
Forgot about it. Yeah, and by the time the last day, we just couldn't make it. Of course, we weren't there on Sunday either. We left on that day, so who knows what treasures would have waited us on that day.
That's when they gave away all their games for free. Don't you know?
If only. And of course, those guys also did Coinage, which they were selling there, and we kickstarted both of us.
And I haven't gotten the mail, but you have.
I did just get it today, in fact. So excited to try that. But yeah.
I guess right now my biggest thing is just I want to play these games now, which is luckily because we're gonna have a big.
We're having a big weekend this weekend. Not you guys aren't invited.
Well, we will have a special beach episode for them.
Yes, perhaps, but we're
end off the summer with a bang.
Getting together with a bunch of friends, and we're having full-on game nights. So they're gonna have fun learning all these new games,
and they're gonna like it,
whether they want to or not. We're looking forward to that, and definitely a bunch of these games we're going to be working on doing videos for in the future, playback episodes, as well as selling them on our site, hopefully as soon as possible, so you guys can have a chance to try them just like we did, because we want you to be part of the fun as well.
And we may have a new video style
A
airing
new video style.
soon. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
But
Lots of stuff in the works.
tell us what you thought, Gen Con. Your ups, your downs, your left, your right.
Your ins, your outs.
What were you most excited about? Whether you got something, whether you decided not to, whether you were unable to get something. We'd love to hear it. Whether you met us, I mean, I'd love to hear from you guys again, especially the people I met earlier from getting
Yeah.
King of New York.
Yeah.
Let us know. You can comment on this video. Yeah, you can also respond to us on our Twitters at Roll4Crit, which we're posting all these fun little Gen Con news tidbits.
And our personal Twitters are, mine is at Quentz,
I'm at Doro Kiryu, and of
And-
course, behind the camera.
at Ivan R. Han. Or if you prefer to use more than 140 characters at a time, you could send us an email, which we will even read on the air for you. Our email address is rollforcrit@gmail.com.
And of course, there's always Facebook. Find us there, leave a comment, and we'll probably talk with you.
Yeah, that's facebook.com/rollforcrit. Like us if you like us, even if you
And
don't like us.
Don't forget to subscribe here, like this video. We've got more coming, please.
And of course, this video and all other Gen Con photos and videos, and I posted a few other sites just today, wrap-ups of Gen Con, some other news. You can find it all. Plus, you can buy a ton of great games on our website, rollforcrit.com. Before we head out, I think we should just say one more time, just a thank you to everybody who worked on Gen Con, all the designers and all the demoers that were there and helped us learn the game.
Well, also the volunteers that had to stick behind the booths for hours upon hours as we all demanded our will call tickets.
And all the people that we met, that played with us, that talked to us, and all those people that we got to hang out with. It was really a great experience.
You guys are the best.
You're so great. And the people at home that were part of Gen Can't 2014 who had to follow along online. God bless you, and I hope you guys had fun at home too. Might have had even more fun because probably got more sleep than us.
Well, hopefully they'll maybe attend Gen Con in the future.
Perhaps. Until then, that's going to do it for a Gen Con wrap-up, and our next few weeks might be a little weird with scheduling just because we have a few playbacks we want to do, and we also, because this is coming out, we're going to have a regular podcast on Monday, so just stay tuned. Things will get back to normal over time. That'll do it. I am Jonathan Estes.
I'm Will Keeler, and this has been a special Roll for Crit podcast.